Coming up on News Live at 6, I'll be breaking down all of the details on the solar eclipse that passed through Syracuse this afternoon, some of the states it passed through, and when Syracuse can expect another total eclipse.
Plus, we'll take a look at your weather. Some rain.
Talk.
We have student footage from the solar eclipse today. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Do you see it yet? I'm not seeing anything. Do you see it?
I'm not seeing it. Might have already passed.
It's too bright in here. I think it already passed. Good evening. Welcome into News Live at 6. I'm sure you already heard, but today is Eclipse Day.
And that is very true. And I'm Maddie Stelk.
And
thanks.
I'm Bradley Hoppenstein.
We're going to break all of that down. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's get right to it.
Let's get right to it. We have a lot to get to tonight. Big day here in CNY, but we're going to start at the latest, new at 6 tonight. Traffic is starting to funnel out of Syracuse post-eclipse. Central New York expected up to 500,000 visitors for the once-in-a-lifetime event today, but now those visitors are heading home, so we may see an increase in traffic, Maddie.
That's right, Bradley. Let's take a live look at our traffic in Syracuse. You can see this is a wider map, and we're going to see if we can zoom in to the Syracuse area, if we can. Yep. Let's take a look right here. As you can see, the red on your screen, the dark red, is going to show a lot of very slow traffic that's coming through. So you're going to be facing some of that traffic on I-81, especially when you head down south. Those waits will likely trickle into tomorrow as we continue to say goodbye to our visitors.
It's crazy. Right in the path of totality here in Central New York, so that's why a lot of people came here. And if you look at a lot of the traffic, it's kind of in that line of the path of totality.
I don't know if we can zoom out and see, but if you kind of see, we'll see. There we go. There we go. Maybe a little bit more if we can. Shout out to our friends in control.
Perfect. So
yeah, you can kind of maybe a little further. There we go. Okay, one more time, guys. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of the red and the yellow that you're seeing is actually directly in the path of totality, just showing how big the impact tourism had.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder, if you're traveling, whether it's from near or far, be sure to fill up on gas and be patient as you work through that traffic that we just talked about here in CNY. But we have a full slate of eclipse coverage for you here tonight.
Yes, we do. The long-awaited day, and it was visible above Syracuse today, as we were saying, and our own Harrison Calder was able to watch the eclipse and is live outside now. Harrison, what can you tell us?
Maddie, thank you. I'm here outside with a gorgeous view behind me, and we were able to see a gorgeous view again today, which was the solar eclipse, the first time since we've been able to see it in Syracuse since 1925. The school, of course, took advantage of that, having people on the quad, outside the Hall of Languages, outside of Newhouse, all over Syracuse campus outside, being able to take in this once-of-a-lifetime opportunity to see the eclipse. There were games being played, footballs being thrown, scientific experiments were going on the quad, and of course Otto had his goggles as well. Can't go without the glasses. And so it was a great day. There were a lot of people taking many photos, and we were able to talk to a few Syracuse students and see what they were expecting coming into the eclipse.
Start talking.
And so because of all of this, we were able to get a lot of looks, and here are some of the specific glasses that we were able to take a look at throughout today. These were the goggles or the glasses for the solar eclipse. They all have the Syracuse logo on it, very cool. And of course, you cannot see a thing in these. They're completely pitch black. It takes you out from being able to see anything besides the eclipse itself, which is so cool. And of course, it's about the safety, which provides the being able to see the eclipse itself. And I was also able to talk to a professor today because he, like a lot of other different professors, was able to get their students out of class today to be able to see this eclipse. So I was able to talk to him and get a look at what he was saying, which he, by the way, was saying, giving my students our class session to see the eclipse is an opportunity for them to both experience the eclipse and how to observe how others are experiencing it. My hope is that it will help my students to hold on to that memory as one that is truly special, end quote. So it was a really incredible experience for all that were around. We were all able to come together, mostly around the quad, and just look at this view, look at how quick it got dark after just minutes, and be able to see the sky get dark, the wind get cold, and just how everything came around, so we were able to see the eclipse all at once. It was a really awesome experience, and everyone here on campus really loved it. So, guys, I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Harrison, thank you so much. It was a bit cloudy, but the darkness, there was no avoiding when it got dark out.
Yes.
Maddie. We also have our Isabella Galan here to help us understand what exactly we saw earlier today and the path of totality we mentioned earlier that Syracuse is kind of right in the heart of when it comes to New York. Isabella, good evening.
Good evening, guys. After 7 years, the United States has experienced another solar eclipse, and this time Syracuse was in the path of totality. If you did not tune in to our eclipse special, here are some of the details about everything that happened. A total solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the sun and the earth and completely blocks the face of the sun. The sky then darkens as it does when it is dawn or dusk. Now, when we're taking a look at Syracuse, the partial eclipse began at 2:09:15 p.m. The moon gradually began to cover the sun over the next hour until the sun was completely covered at 3:23 p.m. The darkness then lasted for exactly 1 minute and 26 seconds. The eclipse began today in Mazatlan, Mexico at 11:07 p.m. or a.m. Pacific time, before crossing over into Texas. Now, the path of totality passed over many states within the U.S. This included states like Arkansas, Ohio, and Maine. If you take a look at your screen, we got Dallas, Texas at 1:40 p.m. Central Time, moving into Little Rock at 1:51 p.m. We even got Cleveland, Ohio in there at 3:13 p.m. Eastern Time before finally going through Maine. Maine was the last stop in the U.S. at 3:32 p.m. Eastern Time. And the eclipse has finally exited North America, and it ended in Newfoundland, Canada. This was at 5:15 p.m. Newfoundland time, which equates to 3:36 p.m. Eastern time. The last time Syracuse experienced a solar eclipse within the path of totality was 1925. And while eclipses occur usually every 1 to 2 years, the next time Syracuse will be able to experience it in totality is 2399, which is very, very far away time. Maddie and Bradley, back to you.
Wow, $23.99 is going to be a while. I don't think we won't be around to see it.
I wouldn't think so. We got a long way to go.
We do, and it was a very special day though. There were some clouds, but the weather was pretty nice, and we were still able to see it with the sun peeking through a little. So
it was. We got that full coverage, moon all the way over the sun, and yes, it was a little cloudy, but listen, I've seen it a lot worse here in CNY. The clouds look to be kind of clearing out as it got brighter out, though. We're going to bring in Tyler Oldano now. Tyler, are those clouds going to stick around, or are things going to clear up as we get into the night here?
Well, you're right. As we clear through the night, they're going to start kind of congealing a little bit into more solid clouds. Man, 2399, that's like way more than a decade. That's crazy. Anyways, coming up tonight, our weather right now is about 60 degrees outside. Just some nice cold weather. Those still able to get a decent shot on our lovely live special. Heavy clouds right now, but going into tonight, current temperatures, we're seeing that kind of consistent 52s to approximately 65s. Those are the highs and lows of our little region. Penyon is sitting at roughly 52 and Ithaca 58. Tonight, though, that temperature is going to dip quite low into the 46s. Not too much, but it's still enough to give you a bit of a shock to your overcast skies. Those clouds are going to stay, but Maddie and Stelk, bring it back to you.
Tyler, thank you. Now, taking a look at some of the events on campus this week, SU is hosting an SEC and ACC virtual career this Wednesday. During the event, students will get the opportunity to connect with hundreds of companies looking to fill internship and full-time positions nationwide. The event will go from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can register using the link on the Syracuse University calendar website, and students are highly encouraged to research companies they are interested in before attending the event.
And University Union is collaborating with the Multicultural Affairs to honor Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Tomorrow night, they'll be welcoming commemorative speaker Sherry Cola for their upcoming performing arts show. Sherry Cola was named one to watch by People magazine, as well as 11 Asian American comics who need to be on your radar by Entertainment Weekly. The event will start at 11:30 p.m. in Goldstein Auditorium and shine and doors will open at 7:30. The event is free to attend, and you can get more information on the Syracuse University events website. And coming up after the break, President Biden making another push to bring chip making back to the U.S., but he's not talking Micron this time. The White House's latest investment after the break.
Plus, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump finally giving an answer to his stance on abortion. Stay with us.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Bradley Hoppenstein, Maddie Stelk, and Tyler Oldano. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. There's a new poll in the battleground race for New York's 22nd Congressional District. A three-way Democratic primary for that race is expected to take place this June.
Joining us now to break down this news is our friend Luke Radel. He's our Citrus TV political reporter. And Luke, the obvious question is, who is winning in this poll right now?
Maddie, Bradley, good evening. I won't keep you in suspense much longer. State Senator John Mannion of Geddes is on top in this first poll from the Democratic primary race, which will decide who gets to face off against Syracuse Congressman Brandon Williams in the fall. But there's a slight disclaimer that needs to be made here, since the poll was paid for by the Mannion campaign. So before we get into the problems with this survey, let's take a look at those all-important numbers shared by the campaign with the Syracuse Post-Standard. Democratic pollster Mike Boshian told the paper that Mannion is holding a comfortable lead with 42% of likely primary voters backing him, followed by his opponent DeWitt Town Councilor Sarah Clee-Hood with 20%, and Utica University professor Clemmy Harris is trailing in a distant third place with 9%. But the number on the bottom of your screen is the one that I want to focus on, because in this poll of 400 likely voters in the race, 27% of them say they are still undecided. And even among folks who say that they are going to support John Mannion, only around half of them say they are certain they will vote for him. So there are plenty of voters out there who still need to make up their minds about this race, but it's tricky to do so when some candidates avoid talking about the issues. Even though the Mannion campaign spent the time and resources to conduct and leak this internal poll, they have yet to post an issues page on their campaign website to tell voters what his policy positions actually are. And they still say he is, quote, unable to attend our primary debate scheduled for April 25th. In the meantime, he's continued to ask voters for more campaign cash in videos like this one.
Nothing gonna break my stride. Nobody's gonna slow me down. Whoa, no. I've got to keep on moving.
It is March 28th, just 3 days from our fundraising deadline. So we've got lots of momentum. Yes.
Can I sing again?
You can.
Do you have anything else to say?
I always have something to say. You can go to mannionforny.com if you're willing to support.
Ain't nothing gonna break our stride. Nobody's gonna slow us down.
We're hoping to foster a more substantive conversation about the issues that matter to you in our debate on April 25th. And the poll that really counts will be 2 months later on primary election day. Maddie and Bradley, back over to you.
Luke, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's go to Washington now. The Biden administration today said it will give Taiwanese semiconductor giant TSMC nearly $7 billion to expand their plants in the U.S. This is the latest of part of the president's push to bring chip manufacturing and more jobs back to the country.
TSMC is already building facilities in Arizona, and the president wants the company to expand those plans. He says he's looking to ensure that the most advanced microchips are produced domestically. This move is also right in line with the future Micron facility coming here to central New York out in Clay. Now, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump is now saying he is not in favor of a national abortion ban and the issue should be left up to the states. He says abortion is now where everyone wanted it from a legal standpoint, and whatever each individual state decides will be the law of their land.
This new statement posted to Truth Social today comes as the president's been facing pressure to give his stance on the issue after months of mixed messages and speculation.
Coming up, I'll have your 5-day forecast. We'll be right with you out.
Yes, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
News Live at 6. Today we have your gonna be some rain. Temperatures are also dipping from today as well. Basically, the temperatures are gonna drop a lot more, and with those clouds, they're gonna drop even further. Now, let's take a look at my photo of the day. This is actually a group of people. That's John Nolan, Justin Barton, Sagina, Anad. They were actually running a solar eclipse activity outside today, and they were showing students the power of sound. As you can see behind me, they were actually using some satellite dishes to help send sound back and forth from 2 different dishes. And you know, it's a fun little event for students and the children to just have a great time and enjoy the sun. It didn't even involve those glasses or any kind of danger whatsoever. And people I spoke to seem to be having an absolute blast. Now, Maddie, back to you guys.
Tyler, thank you. Now moving to some consumer news now. Panera Bread has discontinued 48 menu items from their menu in an effort to focus in sandwiches and salads, Bradley.
Yeah, some of the items leaving the menu are flatbread pizzas, bowls, blueberry bagels, and specialty coffee. According to Panera, the menu will offer better value options below $10 and more protein in each bite of existing items. Now let's take a bite out of our sports report with Jesse Cook.
Well, I went eclipse watching, but I think I used the wrong glasses. You know, yesterday all eyes were on the Women's Basketball National Championship. I might be blind now, but I watched yesterday. More eyes on the Men's National Championship tonight. We'll have all that if I can find where the camera is after a quick break here on Citrus TV.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Hey there, Jesse Cook back with you for Citrus TV, and we've got our eclipse glasses on to see the sun and some of the biggest stories in sports from this past week. Actually, these are pitch black. I can't see a thing. Let's get into it with women's basketball. So, former Syracuse center Camila Cardoso is a national champion. The senior transferred to South Carolina after the 2020 through 21 campaign. 3 years and an undefeated season later, the Gamecocks downed Iowa for the title. So let's take a look back at that game. It looked like it was all Hawkeyes early on. Caitlin Clark hit a three to give them a 10-0 run out of the gate. Clark, from long range, the highest scoring player in women's college basketball history and men's, Camila Cardoso. She came over from Syracuse like we talked about earlier. She comes through clutch in the low post. Now after the half to give South Carolina a 10-point lead after they were down to start the game. There you go. Iowa, with about 4 minutes left, scores, but never scored in the last 4 minutes of the game. South Carolina comes through with the 87-75 victory over Iowa for the win. There's Dawn Staley celebrating her third national championship. So that's 3 titles for South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley. On the men's side, UConn mastermind Dan Hurley can win his second chip in a row tonight, taking on Purdue in the men's final. So both of these natties are battles of 1 seeds. The Boilermakers have won every tournament game by multiple buckets, but if that's not good enough, the Huskies haven't let anyone within 10 points. That all goes on right around 9 o'clock tonight. And back here in baseball season, the Syracuse Mets catch a rare honor by playing on a Monday and playing after the total eclipse. Minor League Baseball doesn't usually play on Mondays. They take all besides 4 Mondays off the entire season, but the fans are advised against taking off their eclipse glasses. I already threw mine out. You know, the Mets might want to keep those glasses on. It's Mets versus Red Sox today, and while fans enjoyed the eclipse before the contest, they might want to keep those dark glasses over their eyes because Syracuse is being no-hit by George Costanza. No, that's not the actor who played George on Seinfeld, but his name is the same. Jason Alexander has struck out 5 with no runs on no hits for Worcester. On the ice now, the Crunch are postseason bound. Syracuse didn't even have to work for it during Saturday's game. So although the Crunch lost to the Belleville Senators 5-2, they got some help from up north. The Toronto Marlies took down the Utica Comets, giving the Crunch a good enough cushion to clinch a spot in the Calder Cup playoffs. So that all starts after the season ends on April 20th. Back in college, Syracuse women's lacrosse took on Pitt on Saturday at Cicero North Syracuse High School. There were monster trucks taking over the dome, so this one was pushed outside off to CNS. So Syracuse and Pitt braving the cold, and it was all orange right out of the gate. They looked like they were coming from the lion's den to take down the Panthers. Natalie Smith scores right there. She had a hat trick in the first half. That was the first goal of the game. Now Peyton Raleigh is waiting right by the net. You'll see her in frame in just a moment. There she is. She had a first half hat trick. Syracuse with 2 players with 3 goals. 3 plus 3 is 6. Emma Tyrell had 6 by herself. The Syracuse star carried the Orange to the big win, 16-7. That's an 8-game winning streak. 6 of those wins have come by 9 or more goals. 6 of them have included an Emma Tyrell hat trick. Head coach Kayla Traynor said it's not just her scoring, though, that makes her special.
Last game, we asked her to be on the draw circle. This game, I mean, she rode single-handedly like 50 yards down the field, got a turnover, we got the ball back, and she was alone in the midfield. I mean, she'll go over and play defense, and she just does so much for us, and it's really more impactful what she does outside of just scoring goals, and I think that's why she's playing at such an elite level right now.
Syracuse next sees Clemson on Saturday. Back on the hill, Syracuse tennis nabbed a win in its last match of the regular season, shutting down Louisville 6-0. The Orange lost just 1 set the entire day, and both graduating players won their senior day matches. Victoria Kanapetskaya took dubs both in doubles and singles play, and Polina Kozareva cruised through the singles as well. Lastly, it was a hyperactive weekend in New York sports, so let's run through everything that happened in the pros yesterday. We start off in baseball with the New York Yankees. They demolished the Blue Jays 8-3 yesterday. Let's go to the Mets. They shut down the Reds 3-1 last night as well. The New York bullpen was lights out with 4 scoreless innings, culminating in closer Edwin Diaz's 2nd save of the year. On the ice, the Rangers launched a 4-goal third period from a come-from-behind victory over the Canadiens 5-1 last night. The Sabres, not so lucky. They fell 3-1 to the Red Wings. Buffalo fell behind in the first minute and never recovered. Back on the court, the Knicks crunched the Bucks 122-109. New York guard Jalen Brunson paved the way with 43 points. The Nets, on the other hand, were crushed 107-77 by the Kings last night. Sacramento more than doubled up Brooklyn in the fourth quarter to go and light the beam. And that's all I've got for sports, and this is my last time on Citrus TV News Live at 6, so thank you to everyone over these past 4 years. Brad and Maddie, take it away.
Jesse, thank you so much. What a great send-off for your last Live at 6. We'll actually see you back in studio, though, after the break, but first, Tyler Oldano will have your wake-up weather. Stay with us.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News Live at 6. Let's take a look at our wake-up weather. It's going to be a bit of a warm day tomorrow. We started out about 45 degrees, but that sun is going to come out and warm up to around 59. And guess what? The clouds aren't going to be there, which is we had looking to be a little bit less. After that, the rest of the day, there's going to be a little bit of a chance of pretty cloudy day for those babies to be born, right?
That's right, Tyler. It was a day of milestones in central New York, and not just because of the eclipse, but because some new babies were born at the Krause Hospital. Krause Health shared on their Instagram these pictures that were born on this day, the day of the eclipse.
Aww.
So cute.
What a special day to be born. I mean, we were just saying the next one's not going to be till what, 2399?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yes, that's true.
Here's the question. Do they only age on eclipse days? Is this like a leap day baby thing?
Oh my.
Is this like where they
I'd
only
hope
can
not.
age once every like 399 years?
Then they'd be
a long way to their first birthday.
That's very true. I love that they had the little onesies too. That was so cute.
Adorable.
They're
And the glasses.
Yes, and the glasses.
And the glasses.
I'm sure they're gonna be hearing the story of the eclipse for the rest of their lives. But
They're living it.
well, that's all the time we have tonight for Citrus TV News Live at 6.
For more of the latest, follow us on social media. I'm Bradley Hoppenstein.
And I'm Maddie Stelk. For the entire Citrus TV News team, have a great night, Syracuse.